We've got the Memorial Tournament ahead of us, but first, why not look back with Jason Sobel of the Action Network? I'm Adam Kaufman. Of course, Jason, we had the Charles Schwab Challenge, and Jason Kokrak, just as everybody expected, the winner at plus 3,300 odds going in. What'd you think?
There were definitely some people on Kokrak this past week. Congratulations to them. This guy's a really strong player who just keeps getting better later in his career. Could be a potential sneaky Ryder Cup pick for Steve Stricker later this year as well. So, like I said, congrats to those who had Kokrak last week. And I didn't even have him going into the final day. I thought Jordan Spieth would close it out, but Kokrak did a really good job against a crowd that was going for the hometown hero on Sunday afternoon.
Jason, we've got a pretty stacked field for the Memorial as we look ahead here. You also have the defending champ right there at the top of the odds board, and that is, of course, Jon Rahm, plus 1150 to win this thing. But you can't ignore, it's been kind of an up and down period of late for Jon Rahm. Do you like him being the guy with the best odds, and how do you feel about him going into the weekend overall?
Look, Adam, I know you guys at DraftKings have some odds makers that get paid some big money to set these lines, and I would not question them. It's just a little bit strange to see Jon Rahm as the favorite this week, considering he hasn't even won yet this year. I'm not sure he's the best player in the world. It's just kind of a strange one. It feels to me like the odds makers kind of said, well, look, none of the top players are really playing great right now. Jon Rahm is the defending champion at this golf tournament, so I guess Jon Rahm. I don't have a better reason for why it wouldn't be Jon Rahm, but Justin Thomas, Rory McIlroy, Bryson DeChambeau, a few of the names right behind him. I guess Rahm is worthy of being the favorite, but no, I'm probably not chasing him this week. And quite frankly, it's a very strange sort of transition that we've made, Adam, over the last couple of months, where I feel like 2 to 3 months ago, we looked at the best players in the world and said, man, all these guys are playing so well on a weekly basis. Any given week, any one of these guys can claim a title. And right now, you look at all of them and say, Rahm's not playing his best, and these guys aren't doing it. But, yeah, Rahm's still probably a viable favorite this week. But, again, I'm not chasing it, though.
So from Rahm then at plus 1150 to a guy that you also just mentioned, Justin Thomas at plus 1,500 odds. But another guy who's not really, played up to his reputation, you might say. He missed the cut at the PGA Championship. He was tied for 40 at the Charles Schwab Challenge. If you want to look a little bit beyond him, Victor Hovland is also plus 1,500. But then McIlroy, as you mentioned, Morikawa, Schauffele, Spieth, they're all plus 1,650 or better. So is it Thomas in this spot, or is it one of these other guys that's more appealing to you?
Yeah, if I'm going with somebody that's sort of in that next group on the board, Justin Thomas is a guy that I do like. He's finished outside the top 10, though, in 6 straight starts, which is a little concerning. He's not playing bad golf. He's just not playing his own brand of really strong golf. I do believe that's going to come back, and I'd rather be on the right side of it than the wrong side of it. The last time he missed this many cuts in a row, failed to finish in the top 10 this many times in a row was early to mid 2019. And after he finally got over that, he went on a little bit of a tear where he started playing some of his best golf. So I do think that's going to happen for JT at some point. And honestly, based on the final round ball striking numbers at Colonial this past week, it could start this week.
We do have a couple of former champs that are here. DraftKings own Bryson DeChambeau. There's Patrick Cantlay as well. These guys do have some longer odds than some of those we've discussed. Cantlay at plus 1,700 and DeChambeau a little bit more than that, plus 1,850. Which of these former winners do you like?
Adam, sometimes it pays to listen more than you talk. And so Cantlay's a guy that wasn't too much on my radar screen. He did win here 2 years ago, and I do like him. In general as a player. He's a guy that I play a lot based on the fact that I think there's still some value on him in the marketplace on a regular basis. But I can tell you that across the industry, there are a lot of Patrick Cantlay fans this week, a lot of people on him. And so, again, he wasn't on my original list of guys that I was really targeting. He's missed the cut in 3 of his last 4 starts, but ball striking numbers were really good at Kiowa 2 weeks ago at the PGA Championship. So sometimes, you know what? You got to listen to others instead of just giving your own advice. So I'll listen to essentially everybody else out there, and I'll say, yeah, okay, I'm good with Cantlay this week. I like that.
As we said, Jason Kokrak was the champ last week at very long odds, plus 3,300. So now as you look ahead to the Memorial, who has really long odds that can be this week's Kokrak?
Yeah, I think there's tons of value past this top tier this week. I mean, if we're looking at Kokrak-like odds, where it's sort of lower top tier, upper mid tier. I think that Joaquin Neiman is a guy that I like a lot. Patrick Reed is a guy that I like. Keegan Bradley, Shane Lowry, Matt Wallace, all guys of varying odds in that level, different prices. But I like all of those guys. If you go back and look over the last 5 or 6 years at the Memorial Tournament, 2015, David Lingmerth was your winner. 2016, William McGirt was the winner. So we can look at the top of this field and say, man, there's so many great players. Of course, one of them is going to win this week. But as we've seen in the not too distant past, one of these long shots is capable of going out and winning on this golf tournament. We have a course that's been almost a complete renovation from what we saw last year for 2 events, both the Workday and the Memorial Tournament 1 week later. So I think scoring is going to be more like we saw at the Workday. I don't think it's going to play like it did for the Memorial when it basically looked like a major championship last year. But I do think there's some value on some longer odds players. If you want to go really deep, a guy like Luke List is a guy I really like. Brendan Steele at 200 to 1, I believe. That's a player I like a lot as well. So again, I think one of these guys has a chance to go out there and steal this golf tournament this week.
All right, bunch of guys that you like. How about someone you're fading? Who's a stay away from spot at the Memorial?
Yeah, there's not really anyone at the top of the board where I say he can't do it this week. Again, a lot of those players that we mentioned in that upper tier, you look at and you say, okay, well, John Rahm's had, some really good final rounds, but he's struggled to kind of get there, to get himself in serious contention. So don't love chasing him as the favorite. Bryson's been good, but not great. Maybe he'll be buoyed by this whole Brooks Koepka battle going back and forth. Maybe that'll distract him. Who knows? Rory McIlroy, other than the win at the Wells Fargo Championship, has not been the Rory McIlroy we've come to know. Jordan Spieth once again struggled with the lead on a Sunday afternoon. So it's sort of like a mini fade on all of those top players, but not a full fade on any of them, if that makes some sense.
The only sense that we need to make is who's going to win this thing. Who is your favorite, personally, to come away with the victory at the Memorial?
I was hoping for a bigger price on this guy, but Victor Hovland seems to fit a trend at the Memorial Tournament. What we've seen over the last few years, in 2018, Bryson was a very good up-and-coming young player, but wasn't quite the Bryson that we know right now. Won this tournament, used it as a stepping stone, a building block to bigger and better things. 2019, Patrick Cantlay, basically the same thing. Patrick Cantlay was a guy that we knew was destined for stardom, and he sort of used this to propel himself in the world ranking. Last year, okay, John Rahm was probably there already, so I'm not sure he necessarily fits the narrative. But the week previously, at the Workday on the same golf course, Colin Morikawa did the exact same thing. That was the biggest win to date of his career, and a few months later became a PGA Championship winner. So I like Victor Hovland, who's played so well lately, a pair of top 3 finishes in his last 3 starts. I like him to use this as the same type of stepping stone that those other players did in recent years and finally come away with a bigger victory than he's seen in the past.